Hello, Nippies. Welcome back to the channel. And if you're new here, hi, hello, I'm Nips, a freelance artist. And today we are going to be working on an expression sheet. This was commissioned by Manamoon, who is an incredible artist with an art team creating all sorts of card game paraphernalia. It is honestly incredible, but they also create a webcomic called Raising Hell, which you should honestly read. It's beautiful. And these are two characters from the comic. So I'm very honored to be able to work with them. Check out all their links in the description below. Highly recommend. And if you guys are new here, you guys probably don't know that I draw these very often. I absolutely love bringing characters through life through expression sheets. And if you've already been here before, then this expression sheet is going to be a little bit different because we are going to have some colors, some painting, some black and white. So I'm really excited to get into it. But before we do that, let's give a thank you to today's sponsor, Sakurako and Tokyo Tree. I have been sponsored by this company for months and I absolutely love them. We have a little guest appearance from my kitty, Kenny, sweetest little boy. But back to the ad. So for those of you that don't know what Tokyo Tree and Sakurako are, they are monthly subscription boxes shipped straight to you from Japan that come with all sorts of snacks and treats and goodies. This one here is the Tokyo Treat one, which has more of like the pop culture, fun, new sort of foods and another appearance by our favorite Kenny. And then we have the Sakurako one, which is more of like a traditional Japanese experience, which is personally my favorite one because they always have so much matcha put into these boxes. And that is just my absolute favorite. But what should actually be my favorite is the amount of stuff that they put into these boxes because I seriously cannot believe all of this comes in the month. And not just this, but the quality, the love, and the care put into it. They add little notes from the creator, and they also come with magazines that give you history, snippets of each and every single snack information, and also allergens if that's something that's important to you. Check them out in the description below. They deserve it so much. Use code NIPS for $5 off your box. And let's get back into the art. So today we're going to be drawing two characters, Aaron and Alexa. And Aaron has an alternate form, you could call him, without spoiling it too much. So in the bottom row is what we're going to draw Aaron and his other form. And one of the first things that I normally do when I start working on an expression sheet, you saw probably a little bit of that at the beginning of the video, is I write out some emotions and I kind of draw them very loosely, sometimes with like stick figures and stuff, because I really want to kind of have the widest range of emotions as possible. And a lot of the times it's trying to get the character summarized in the amount of faces that I'm drawing. You'll see here Manamoon's beautiful art of Alexa, and you'll see that our art styles are very different. And that is something that I'm going to be struggling with this expression sheet. And that is another thing that I was going to mention. Most of the expression sheets that I work on are on my own characters, so I don't really have to worry about matching styles. And I think matching styles is something that maybe I should touch on later in the video rather than now. But so I do start off by trying to summarize the character as best as possible. And that way you'll get a general idea of what the character is like. This expression sheet is slightly different because Manamoon gave me a script for her upcoming chapter and told me to pick out some scenes that I really liked from the chapter and to draw those. And so this expression sheet isn't really about summarizing the characters. So I feel like it's not really up to my standards for what an expression sheet usually means for me, but it is an expression sheet nonetheless, and I'm still very proud of how this came out. So you'll see Aaron kind of coming to life here in the bottom. I absolutely love Anko, Aaron's alternate form, a lot. Teal is one of my favorite colors, and so you'll see as we get into it that Anko is primarily teal. So it's a good time there. Normally, when I do these expression sheets, I do the sketch at the bottom, the primary general like construction, and I try to add kind of a composition to the expression sheet. So it's not just like I'm drawing. Usually it's six as well. I usually do six expressions. So I don't want them to just be six tiled faces. I try my best to collage them in a way that makes it look like a whole illustration because you want the whole expression sheet to feel a little less robotic, if that makes any sense. So I try to do my best to make it a whole experience. And these two are lovers. So that really adds to it and me wanting to make it feel like this whole experience and not just like this disjointed set of faces. Now, I don't know if I succeeded, but attempts were definitely made. And speaking of attempts, I want to go back and talk about the situation that I had with matching art styles for this drawing. Now, I think that matching art styles is a big thing for artists. You might deal with it in different magnitudes, but I do think at some point we kind of have to encounter this issue, whether it be because you are studying art styles from a certain artist and you want to learn more about art, whether you're doing fan art, whether you're drawing even your own characters, if you have different art styles, and especially in this case, if you are being commissioned work of original characters. Now, I think that characters have this general essence, vibe, aura that I think can be projected in any style that you draw them in, but the translation is just going to have to be different. And I think that requires like a lot of self awareness about styles and vibes and energies of, what your art or what art in general is trying to say. And it's not always going to be perfect, of course, because art is subjective and what you get from a drawing might not be what another person gets from the drawing. So that is one of the things while trying to translate art styles, especially if you're doing, like I said, commissions for another artist of their character. Am I interpreting this character correctly? And it's an anxiety that I have every time I'm reached out for that. I'm like, am I getting this character correctly? And a lot of the times, of course, if you have a really nice commissioner, communication is easy. You can ask them all the questions that you need. Hey, is this character like this? Is this in character for them? Do they like these colors, these outfits, and everything? However, sometimes they might be a little shy. They might not want to tell you that they don't like how it looks. They might not want to tell you that they're not in character. And that is another fear that I have. So I'm just constantly questioning. I'm like, do they even like what I'm drawing? Why are they even paying me to draw this thing? And so instead, what I try to start doing is this person is obviously coming to me because they like something about my work. They like something about my art style, and they trust me enough to bring their characters to life in my own way. And so instead of trying to go so hard, trying to copy the other person's art style, especially if it's very different from mine, I will focus on the way I draw things and try to bring it out in my own way. And the one I was struggling with the most was Alexa because Alexa has a very not just Alexa, I suppose Aaron as well, but I think it's more obvious with Alexa. And Manamoon tends to have this like much more anime proportion sort of art style, which if you've been on this channel long enough, you know that this is the art style that I struggle with the most. And so when I got this commission, I was so worried because I love Manamoon a lot and I did not want to butcher her characters. And I was like, oh my gosh, how am I going to draw this? And so if you go back in the video and you actually just look at the under sketches, you'll see that I'm like kind of half trying to do the anime proportions. And eventually I slightly keep them, but I decide to kind of start over and just reproportion everything to how I would draw it. And I think this was like a realization of something that I already knew, but it's hard when you are drawing something for someone that you are friends with, or there's a lot of like business pressure, all of the things, all of the above at once. And so you kind of go into this try hard mode. And even going into this try hard mode, those of you that have maybe experienced this as well know how frustrating it is that sometimes trying really hard will actually ruin your drawing because you're just trying so hard to get it look perfect and good that you kind of lose that kind of loose energy, the dynamism, the flow, the energy, and it stops you from going outside of your comfort zone and really bringing these pieces that you're working on to their highest potential. And that happened to me a lot in this piece. And one of the reasons I'm really proud of it is because I was able to break free. One of the art styles that I was able to experiment more with was this kind of slight gradient flat color sort of situation with some brushes here and there. I've been really enjoying kind of getting out of the cell shade um autopilot that I've done for a lot of years, and I've been really enjoying the last, I would say, year or two, kind of experimenting a little bit more with painting, adding more soft brushes and volume to things. And so I actually just totally forgot that I wasn't supposed to do color for this. It was just kind of supposed to be how I usually draw things. I'll put some up on the screen so you can see how I normally do my expression sheets. And I kind of just let go and I decided to just start painting. And of course, ask your commissioner first. I I am friends with Manamoon, so I I just kind of went with it. And I thankfully she was okay with it. We're good friends, so everything is fine. But yes, do not do this. Do not stray too far unless, of course, you talk to your commissioner and make sure that you are delivering exactly what they want and not really just taking matters too much into your hands. Of course, unless you have one of those god tier commissioners, which Manamoon basically is, that they just tell you, hey, I really just like your art. Can you just do your thing on this piece of paper and I will pay you for it? So, yeah, if you have one of those, all for it, go for it. So, what I decided to do here was to try a little bit of everything. So, in order to keep the picture still balanced, what I did was I made sure that I had one for each of the styles. So, I had flat colors, I had colored shaded, and then I had black and white. And so, I think the black and white ones might be my favorite. Both of the ones on the left, both Aran and Anko's, are my absolute favorite. I'm very, very proud of those. I like how the painting and the rendering came out. The expressions are also, Anko and Aran, both forms are just absolutely wholesome, and the energy that they give, I didn't really want to butcher that at all. He's just a little Cinnabon, okay? So I really wanted to capture that. And in the top left for Alexa, she's going through a very tough time there. She's scared. She's in a situation where she just like cornered, and I really wanted to like evoke that. And I think that the values for that piece specifically, I'm really proud of. I don't always work in black and white. Usually when I paint, I try my best to at least thumbnail in black and white so that I can get a sense for the depth and dimension of the piece. So it had been a really long time since I had not only worked in black and white, since I haven't painted in a while, but actually tried to render a bit in black and white. So in general, very proud of how not just that came out, but the whole sheet in general. I think this was something that I learned a lot from and that I might maybe implement with my commissions for expression sheets in the future if people are interested in receiving something a little more along these lines rather than what I usually do. So, yeah. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Let me know what you thought down below if you liked it. And of course, like the video if you liked it. Subscribe, join the Nippy family. The more, the merrier. And of course, I will leave Manamoon and the art team's socials down below so you could check out their work. And of course, the comic as well. Please go check it out. They deserve it. It's incredible. You'll enjoy it, I promise. And I would say I'll see you next week, but this week, because this video was uploaded really late, so I am so sorry. But yeah, I will see you again this weekend.